In this lesson, we are looking at how to graph quadratic functions in vertex form. And this is how you're going to recognize the vertex form. And the graph of vertex, in vertex form is given over here. And I want you to remember, see, this is the parent function. And usually for the parent function, it's just going to be ay is equals to x squared, because a is going to be 1. And you can see this graph translated is the graph of y is equals to x squared, translated 1 units, translated h units. And remember, sometimes you're going to find the a, but whatever the graph you have in this form, when the h, it says translated h units, so this is going to be to the left or to the right, h units, and up or down, k units. And the vertex is always given by, so see this, when you're given in vertex form, see you already given the vertex, so it's given by hk, and the axis of symmetry is given by x is equals to h. Because the h is the x-coordinate of the vertex, the graphs open up, opens, if a opens up, if a is greater than 0, and down if a is less than 0. So how are we going to graph in vertex form? So the steps are right here. We find the vertex. Step 1, pick 2 convenient x-coordinates on either side of the vertex. Find y, use symmetry to find more points. So let's look at an example. So here is an example that we're going to do. So we start by writing the value of h, and I can see h here is -1 and k is -2. So that means my vertex is -1, -2. And remember what we did in unit 1, that the value of h, you always switch that sign. Remember, this is h in here, so you always switch that, so that's the vertex. Now I'm just going to use my vertex, and the vertex is -1, -2. So where is that? So -1, -2. So it's going to be 1, -2. So right there is my vertex. And then see, my axis of symmetry is, let me write it here, a axis of symmetry is going to be x is equals to -1. Remember, it's given by x is equals to h. So that's my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to highlight that axis because it will help me when I do the rest of the graphing. So I just need to get convenient points on either side of the axis of symmetry. And you make a table here, x, y. So I remember I started with 1, -1, -2. So let me pick a point 0. See, 0 is very convenient. So when I plug in 0 into the equation, what do I get? And I'm just going to do it here so that you can see how to show you one. So it's going to be 0 plus 1 squared minus 2. So that's 1. This is going to be 0. So 1 squared, so 1 minus 2, you get 1. So we get -1 here. And then let's use another point. Let's plug in 1. So then here I come and do 1 plus 1 squared minus 2. And what do I get? This is 4. So I get 2. So when I plug in 1, I get 2. And let me see what I can do with those points. So 0, -1, so right there. So 0, -1, and then 1, 2, and then let me reflect my points. So that's the other point on the other side. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and let's just get another point. Let's plug in 2. So what do we get? So we get 2 plus 1 squared minus 2, and we get 7 because that's 3. So we get 7. So this is 2, 7. 1, so 2, 7 is going to be up there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just to make sure you have a smoother graph. So we connect, and that's how to do the graphing. And we can also talk about transformations here so that we don't forget about them. So this is going to be translated to what direction? It's going to go left. How many units according to age? 1 unit. And it's going to go down 2 units. 2 units. So those are the transformations that we see with our graph. And because A is 1, there is no vertical stretch or shrink. Okay, now let's do another example here. And this one, we know that, let's write the values of A is equals to -1/3. So H is equals to +1. K is equals to 5. So H here is equals to +1. K here is equals to 5. What does that mean? That means I got my vertex. Now go ahead and graph your vertex so that you can be able to see where your vertex is. Okay, so we did, so 1, 5, so right there is the vertex. Now I just need to get some points. So let me write it here. I just need to get some more points on either side. So let me make a table here, and X, Y. So I started with 1, 5. Let me do 0, because 0 is convenient. So I do Y is equals to -1/3. And this is 0 minus 1 squared plus 5. And what do I get when I plug in 0? When I plug in 0, what do I get? So see, this is -1, so this is going to be about -1. Actually, it's going to be, so there's a negative when you square it, so this is going to be -1/3, because when you square that, it's going to be positive plus 5, so we get 4 and 2/3, and we can approximate where that is. So 4 and 2/3. Let's try another point like 2. I think 2 is going to be convenient here. So -1/3, and we're going to do -2, not 2, but -2 and -1 plus 5. So this becomes, so -3. So that becomes, what do we get there? and this is negative 1. This is negative 1. So this is negative 3. So we get negative 1, because that's going to be actually negative 9, because that's 9. So negative 3 plus 5. So we get positive 2. Okay, now let's graph our points. So 0 and 4 and 2/3 about that point. And then we have negative 2, 2. And don't forget your axis of symmetry is along that line. So we can get some more points. So I can reflect that for the axis of symmetry. And 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you can see this one is wider because it has been vertically shrunk. So that's my graph right there. And what do I see in regard to transformations? So it's vertically shrunk. So vertical shrink by 1/3, and it has gone right according to the age. So right 1 unit, and it has also gone up 5 units. And what other transformation do you see? So we see a reflection over x-axis. Reflection over the x-axis. So that's how you graph in vertex form.